Good morning, everyone. It's Rafegal. We are going to continue our Free Enterprise tutorial run, Mage Edition. We just got underground after going through the book route, which is was a bit challenging, or could have been, if we hadn't done a ridiculous grind first. I'm going to do a quick check here just to see if there's anything good. Let's grab a Silence Staff. Silence Staff is one of the best staves in the game. Just doing a little looting. Gonna sell some stuff here, make some room in our inventory because we are at the point where we probably aren't gonna need some of these things. We're gonna keep the Ninja Helm and Zeus Gauntlet just in case we need to turn it around and do like a more aggressive party build. We're gonna get rid of this Lunar Staff because it's a silent staff that's less powerful. We are gonna keep the Cat Claws and Samurai just in case. I'm not actually expecting to switch over characters at this point, but there's a slim chance. So she's got a life staff, and she's got a bow currently. By the way, Rosa is the reason that we're not sure whether we're keeping the Zeus Gauntlet and such. I guess technically it would be Rydia that would be using that, but that's okay. So at this point, we just got underground. We've got the tower key, and it is a requirement. We also have access to a few free items and the in this case, we can try these bosses depending on what they are. With our leveled up party, we might actually be able to take these without an issue. The important thing here is we can get that free one, which was nothing. We can check over here. If this is Sirens, I may... Nope. To be clear, I'm selling that because we know that Edge is not in this game. Just in case you were just joining, Edge, Cecil, Kane, and Fusoya are disabled. Those are the party members I ended up with last time, so I wanted to kind of force a mage game where we're going to be relying on our mages. That gives me the chance to talk about them, talk about strategy, explore a little bit how it's different than a standard berserker party. Okay, we're gonna pick up this dragon whip just in case. There's a couple spots that can be useful. If we find a heroine robe, it's actually very good, because grown-up Rydia can use it. Okay. I think we try this. So, Antlion is not weak to any specific elements, so we're just going to use Quake. and have Rydia heal back up with Shura. Get blinks up on our entire party as fast as we can. And go ahead and... yeah, I think we just do Sylph here. Again, continue that forced heal. At this point, our party members are pretty high level, so I'm not super worried about the XP split as long as Rydia survives. So there's a decent chance that Porum is either not getting used or is getting replaced. It's part of the reason I don't really care about getting her back up on her feet necessarily. We're struggling enough to keep the blinks that we've got up. You can see there, Rydia's MP is not going down because Sylph has a glitch on it. As long as you have the MP to cast it, it doesn't reduce your MP. It's a minor glitch, but it goes a long way as far as just helping with sustainability. There we go. So, 20,000 experience. Rydia's getting double that. Gets virus, good. Although... I was gonna say, although Sylph does about the same damage as virus, but she just got an actual good reward. Bahamut. Bahamut is one of the most damaging spells in the entire game. Period. So that will go a long way. We're gonna go rest and then check what this Lunar Sparkle is. Based on what's left, we may be skipping it because technically, actually, I'm gonna save. This is gonna might seem weird, so we're gonna save and then cabin. And the reason we're doing that is because depending on what we do next, we may not actually want to use the cabin here. Basically, if this is Wyvern, which at this point we've fought Ogopogo and so there's 5 Lunar Sparkle bosses. We fought 2 of them, and out of the ones that are left, one of them could be. We have a 1 in 3 chance of this being Wyvern. D-Lunars. This should be doable. Sorry, thinking. Yeah, this should be doable. So, D-Lunars have a very complicated script. Do not use physical attacks. They will basically just sit here and use physical attacks against us. So what we want to do does she not know blink? Oh, there it is. Okay, good. We're gonna bring Tella back up, even though they might just use Blaze quick. Just to give another target to attack. Okay, and then we're gonna use... He needs to heal himself quick. And then we're going to cast a Star, or use Star Veil. We want to get at least 2 characters with Star Veils up. And the main reason for this is because they're going to use a spell called Breath. Right there. So the trick here is, if you time it right, your characters will end up reflecting the breath back on them, and then they turn into frogs and can't do anything. They have a special thing where they ignore status effects as bosses, but for some reason that gets ignored when they are put in this situation. So we're going to have Forum toss out a Cure. And then we're just going to nuke them out with Poke. And Babil. So I didn't really get to explore their script last time, and that pretty much sums it up. Most of the time what you want to do is either just use magic, or this. If you have enough power to kill them before the breath, then you can. It's definitely a possibility. And honestly, we probably could have if Rydia hadn't taken that hit early. There we go. Unfortunately, not a required item. But again, with the power we've got from that early leveling, we want to use that to get through bosses. Even if they're a little more challenging than normal. Some of the other bosses that we're going to be dealing with, like the tower bosses and anything else that we have to go back to on the surface, are going to be a joke at this point. Okay, so Heroine Robe is a special item. Luckily happened to be in that shop. That will make one of your female characters very, very powerful. we can actually use this to turn Rydia into a physical character for the time being. Oops, I keep messing that up. So I didn't get these treasures last time because I was past looting at this point, but when you get these treasures, you can then walk out the bottom here and it takes you all the way out of the cave. Really handy. So at this point, we've got a couple options. We can go to Dwarf Castle, or we can go to the tower. And honestly, I'm feeling like going to the tower. It's an objective. Generally, you want to try and do objectives first because you have to do them anyway. We have the tower key. That means we get to do 2 things here. Technically, if you don't have the tower key, you can do the very top of the tower anyway. We're not going to be opening any chests because there's several trap chests. There's a couple save points on the way. We're going to go all the way to the top and do that save point first because it's a kind of a good midpoint between the two. We're going to skip this first objective for now. Keep going all the way to the top. Cabin and then save, and then move up to the boss. This is going to be the Dr. Lugai spot. So this is the first of the things that I didn't cover in my last video, as far as bosses go. And unfortunately, it's not going to be a terribly exciting one, because it's Dark Imps. So Dr. Lugai spot, about 15,000 hit points. It's not the most powerful spot. Dark Imps are split a couple different, or one of the kind of standard enemies, so this is going to be actually, yeah, let's just do, we're going to Coffin and Life Glitch to get the extra XP from these, because this is a relatively late spot. So the life glitch I did do in my first video, but just to kind of go over quick. When you use a life potion, it resurrects the target based on their vitality stat. Magma key, nice. Not actually good, but convenient, I guess, just to get it out of the way. So the vitality stat for your characters is going to be, at a certain point, and then it resurrects, and they get a certain amount of hit points back based on their vitality stat. Easy enough. However, when you use it against an enemy, regular enemies have a vitality stat of 0, which means they will resurrect with 0 hit points. There's no animation for this or anything. It just resurrects them and then immediately kills them again. Vovalis. Okay. So the Dark Imp spot. Real quick here. Dark Imp spot only has a few hundred hit points, so we just want to attack as fast as possible. Normally Vovalis is immune to magic, but in the Dark Imp spot you can use magic against her as well, which is why I was lining that twin up as a backup. Super Cannon is one of our objectives, so we ended up picking that one out. Now we can exit the tower, and we'll get our second key item when we get to the base of the tower. That Dark Imp spot is very, very rarely a problem. Even scary bosses like Wyvern, you end up just being able to reflect his Mega Nuke once, and it should just kill him. And it's not a very high XP spot, so it's really not a concern. Black robe, wow. And we gotta just switch back to the Enterprise for free here. So next thing we're gonna do is Dwarf Castle. I'm actually gonna pop over here real quick. You may be wondering, hey, why aren't you doing the free one at Sylph Cave? And that's because we're gonna do that right before we go back up to the surface. We want to be able to clear out as much as we can underground here. And if we happen to get the pan through one of these checks, then we'll save ourselves a lot of time later, having to re-walk through the Sylph Cave. Okay, so there's our sirens. We're just gonna get a few of those. And we are gonna get one mute bell, just in case we run into the other guards. I think we do still need some gear, and this is a pretty late spot, so I think we're gonna go ahead and still loot. Mostly we need some like armor, like more robes. We have good let's see, what is it? The change rod is decent. I mean, a Stardust would be great, but we don't need it. At this point, I think the big things I would enjoy most would be rune armlets, maybe like a white robe. That's really the main things. Okay. And we're gonna go straight into Golbez. Okay, there's the other guards. So easy first spot here. Kalbrenna's got about 10,000 hit points. It's gonna be split up between the dolls. So we should, or it's going to be split up between the guards. So each of them should have about 5,000, I believe. So I think we're going to go ahead. We're going to still do our mute bell. So these guys will counterattack everything you do with Piggy against magic, or Mini against that's what I thought. So yeah, Mini against physical attacks, Piggy against magic attacks. And the actual Golbez fight here is Yang. You know what? I think we're gonna go ahead and keep our party as is. We're going to start off with some real simple just attacks. Basically use low-end magic, and the reason we're doing that is because every time you hit... Oh, that's right, this spot has almost no physical attack. Never mind, I'm much less worried. Every time you hit him, he'll lose he'll start losing tentacles, and then each time he loses tentacles, he loses speed. So you want to just do a few low-end attacks early, but it's not a super high hit point spot, so in retrospect, probably could have just blasted him. That's okay. We kind of did anyway. By the way, Rydia's now grown up, if you didn't catch that. Grown-up Rydia doesn't change that terribly much. She loses white magic, she gets a little bit more black magic power, she learns a few free summons, which we don't care about pretty much any of. She can also now equip the Zeus Gauntlet, which can be useful, and the whips. There's our pass, okay. We're gonna cast Warp, because the Warp glitch is enabled. So we can go get the item from the back of the sealed cave, is what that actually is. Okay. I'm going to do a quick check on my key items. We're at 7. When you get to 10 key items, it lets you when you get to 10 key items, you gain the ability to get double experience. So we actually don't want to do any more grinding right now because of that. We want to make sure that we're not doing it when we're... Oops. We need to pick up the hovercraft first. So we have both the rat tail and the pink tail, which is a required check as well. So we're going to do this. Now, normally you might try and do Sylph first, but since we're specifically getting a free key item, I feel like it's worth doing this first, just in case the rat tail ends up being... No, it's the earth crystal. Okay. If it had been the pan, it saved us time, basically, is our thought there. Pink tail is going to be a high-end item. It's never a key item, though. It is just a high-end piece of equipment. So that could have been a white robe, it could have been the protect ring, something like that. Cut across to Toroya. I'm actually going to go do the treasury first. Then go shopping. Somehow we got all physical gear there. And our inventory is full, so I'm just gonna head back. So at this point our choices are We can run down to Sylph. I'm gonna do a quick check on our gear again. We have a lot of duplicate items and a lot of ninja swords specifically. So we passed Yang. Dragon, Ninja, Wizard, Diamond, Ice. Keep that. Sell that. Keep that. Sell that. Sell that. Sell that. Artemis bow is also good. If we need to change one of our characters into more of an aggressive character. Sylph. We already have Sylph. Okay. So right now our choices are we can either do Dark Elf, which is a relatively long check because it has kind of a cutscene. We can do Earth Crystal, which is kind of a long one because it has a cutscene and is 2 bosses instead of 1. We can do Sylph Cave, which is free, but if we find the pan, we'll have to go do it again. Or we can go to the moon. I'm thinking right now we're gonna go up here. So Dark Elf isn't a super high-end boss. Like, it's the end of the top section, I guess. It's the end of the overworld. But it's not super scary. And yes, this spot is almost immune to magic, which is a problem. But we just picked up some physical attacking gear. So we're gonna do that. And depending on who the boss is, it may not be a problem anyway. So, we're gonna real quick we need to steal these arrows from Dumb. We're going to back row glitch Rydia. We haven't talked about that yet this time. So when you equip a bow and arrow and then switch to a melee weapon, it allows you to do same damage from the back row. Now this equipment that we just put on, the Dragon Whip, reduces her casting stats, her magic stats, but it increases all of her physical stats. The Heron Robe decreases her magic stat, but increases her physical stats. And then we're giving her additional bonuses from the Zeus Gauntlet Ninja. In a similar manner, Artemis Bow reduces casting stats. Bandana, Black Belt. I'm gonna put Rydia in the middle, so she gets that accuracy bonus. We're going to skip the cutscene by getting a full party wipe before he casts his spells. Skip part of the cutscene. the other way to do this is by equipping all of your characters with metal armlets. Save up your iron armlets, your silver armlets, and just re-equip those all. Figaro theme, and this is Mylon. So it may not seem like they're doing a lot of damage, and compared to some characters that we normally get, they're not. But they're doing more than our other characters do, and that's the important part. We're gonna toss a virus out just to get some residual damage. You can see there, even the super powerful characters that we normally have are doing 1. But those physical attacks with that berserk just get the job done. Heroine Robe is one of the biggest things that can keep, or that can... Hey, that was worth it, see? Heroine Robe just really goes a long way, making these non-physical characters into something that can actually keep up physically. There's actually kind of a meme of the Quint Zerker, so using 5 characters as berserkers, and a lot of times the way you do that is you have Rosa as one of them and have her equipped with the heroine robe and everything, and then so you heal after that first big bang, and then just have her do her thing and berserk up at the end after helping everybody else cast berserk. It's funny. It's not actually good. It can beat Ceromus, but it's not actually an advised thing to do unless you have like a couple Cecils, and then it doesn't matter what you do. Okay, so we're gonna go to Sylph Cave because this is gonna be 3 key item checks since we have that pan. And you always want to do your free checks and your objectives first. At this point, we are looking for the Baron key. That is the only thing we need to win. Then we just do a short grind and we're good. And yes, we are doing another grind even though we've already done a D machine. Our goal with the D machine was to get in range to be able to do everything we needed to do at that point. So the way that this works, by going down here with the pan the first time, we're actually completing 2 objectives. One of them is talking to Yang to confirm that he's in the underground, and the second one is hitting him with the pan. So now when we go back to his wife, we can both confirm that he's in the underground and confirm that we already hit him with the pan and return it to her. And that gives us all of our objectives for that right away. So as long as one of these is Baron Key, we don't have to do a full clear of the moon, which would be lovely. I'd really prefer not to go to the moon at all. Luca Key and Legend Sword. Nope. No such luck. So technically at this point we can do the Earth Crystal. That's the one thing we've got left. We have Sealed Cave, which could technically be Mist Dragon. We do have our 12 key items now. So you know what? I think we're gonna do... I mentioned a quick grind. I'm feeling it. Let's just, real quick, deal with this while we've got all of our equipment set up. We're going to toss a Cure 4 out, and actually, while we're in this menu, let's do, like, get her Cure 4 up where it's supposed to be. Berserk, Wall, Blink. Virus and Quake. Virus. One of the reasons Pelham is considered to be the superior black mage is just because of that right there. Berserk, Blink, Wall, Cure 4, Berserk, Blink. Just trying to be consistent with where I'm putting these spells to an extent. Virus. He doesn't get Quake, so we'll put Media there. So because we've got over 10 key items, we can now use our Sirens. And this will give us double experience. And I believe Rydia is still at the point where she's going to be getting even more. Rydia should be able to one-shot these because she has the Dragon Whip, which does 4 times damage against dragons, as well as all those physical pieces of gear. Now, we don't need to do this if we were trying to get, or if we end up having to clear them. We definitely don't need to do this. If nothing else, it's just going to make it easier. One of the big things that you generally will have to figure out the pacing for is your grinding. And the bosses on the moon give lots of experience points. Somehow Rydia is still 5 level... Oh wait, no. Yeah, Rydia is still 5 levels below the center character. So she should still be getting 3 times experience from this. There's our nuke. Okay. I'm thinking let's just use the rest of these while since we're right here. Then we'll reset our characters a little bit to casting mode again, since we currently have our 2 of our characters on physical character, or on a physical setup. So you can see here one of the big problems with casting parties is their hit points. If you recall from the first tutorial video, Zeromus can hit from anywhere from 1800 to 2200 with a big bang attack. And that's a lot. And most of our characters don't have that many hit points. So, there's a couple strategies you can use. One of them is to try and nerf the big bangs, and that's just using a single attack spell like Nuke, or using the Silk Web right off the bat to make him use a Nuke spell. When he uses a Nuke spell, he reduces his magic stat to make sure that it doesn't feel stupidly unfair because Nuke's super powerful. And this makes it so his next Big Bang attack is using that reduced magic stat, so he hasn't reset it yet. This can be very beneficial. The other way is the method that I would call the I don't care method. And that's probably what we're going to be using. Basically, it means instead of worrying about making sure every character survives, you use each character until they die. And that is what we will be doing. It might sound callous, and it kind of is, but it doesn't actually matter that much. Charmrod, Tiara, Black Robe, Silver. I guess technically I should be equipping these black robes on everybody who can wear them. Black Robe. Is Black Belt better than Black Robe? 10-3. She can't use it anyway. Okay, so this next one is the Mega Sister spot. The Mega Sister spot is like 10,000 hit points. Rubicant, or the Elements fight. Rubicant. So we're just gonna... Actually, I'm thinking let's just do this. This should do it. Pretty short order. We're at the point where we're just gonna stomp things. Rubicant, at a lower end spot, you'll generally want to use Ice Magic if you don't have a just win con like that, but we do have a win con like that. So we're just stomping him. If we had gotten this earlier, we may have taken another Rydia or another Palom, which is what our options are, over Porum specifically. But at this point, Porum's actually high enough level that it doesn't matter. Porum can actually survive Big Bang because we did that stupid amount of grinding. So as long as this isn't Wyvern, we should be good. And even if it is Wyvern, we should be good. Golbez. Okay. So he's gonna go through his script. We just have to wait. He talks a lot. And then is going to kill all but 2 members of our party. Now, here at the Volvalis spot. We should be able to one-shot Golbez with Bahamut. And since Rydia survived, I'm just going to go ahead and do that. That's not good. And we're out of... Okay. Well, that's why we save. Okay. So we don't have Star Veils. Normally your strategy would be use a Star Veil. However, what we can do is pray that we get lucky and start off with a start off by trying to cast a bunch of wall effects. We have 3 white mages, so if we turn battle speed down, I think we can actually skip, or try and get walls cast before, and as long as at least, so if we get 3 walls off, that should make it so that we can ensure that at least 1 character survives. That's going to be our goal. The downside to this is it means we have to turn battle speed down on the Golbez fight, which is already a pretty slow fight. By the way, you can see the tentacles there. Now, we already went to Dwarf Castle. If we hadn't been to Dwarf Castle yet, those tentacles show us who that boss is, which is really neat. There's several of these spots where you can kind of see ahead who the boss is going to be, and then keep that in mind as you're making your decisions. Golbez hits really hard. We want Rydia to survive if possible. We're going to defend. Rosa would be my second choice, and Pelham. Okay, so we may not get all of them off. As long as either Rydia or Rosa survives, we'll be okay, because he'll be able to reflect his spells. The Volvalis spot is similar to the one that I mentioned earlier, the Mylon Z spot, where it has very high magic stats because it is set up. The boss that's actually here, Volvalis, doesn't have magic attacks that do damage. That's not what we want. Okay. No! Okay. We have to get very lucky with Pella here. Or we need to go find Star Veils. Because I didn't make notes, and this is one of those times where making notes before you go shopping is very good. So he's probably going to kill himself with these spells in very short order. We're going to see if we can get lucky and get our... Nope. basically just trying to keep Rydia up so that she can get the XP. There we go. No, stop it. That's not good. Okay, that was me being greedy. And we didn't save in between again. Okay, this is a very frustrating Golbez spot. I think we're still good. We're gonna do the exact same thing we did last time. And honestly, if we get better luck as far as who survives, we'll be okay. That's one of the big things. By the way, the fact that we just are one-shotting Rubicon is why we aren't saving in between. Technically, we should be, since we died twice now. I will also just say as a reminder again, if we had Star Veils, this would not be challenging. Like, this is one of those situations where if you happened to actually get the correct, or if you have the right gear going into this, this is a lot easier. Because then whoever survives can just use a Star Veil as an item, which is instant instead of having to try and menu in and cast. The wall spell. Wall spell takes time, and we need to get all of this off before Golbez goes, basically. That was a mistake that might have just cost us. Yep. So we got we had 2 people up again. We'll see if we can get something, if we get lucky. And we're also going to queue up another one on Rosa. If she happens to survive, that'll actually no, we're just gonna leave Rosa available. And that way, if she ends up being one of the survivors, we can target the right person with wall. Okay. Nope. Okay. So we have Rydia, we're good. And actually, out of all the characters that survived, these are the 2 who we want the XP for. So, sure. Rydia is just going to start off with a... Rydia has a wall cast already, so we're just going to cast Bahamut. Form's gonna cast Wall on herself, and now both of them are safe. We were very close to just killing him last time, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Which is why I said I was being greedy. If I had done an attack spell with Tella instead of trying to resurrect Rydia, that would have been the correct play. I really wanted the experience for Rydia, but this isn't a super high experience spot. Like, she gets a level. And yes, it happens to be the level she needs to get Nuke, but we're gonna be doing more unless, I mean, even if this is the Baron Cube, we still have 3 fights. Please be the Baron Cube. I really don't want to do the moon. If I was smart, I would have disabled moon bosses as part of the cycle for this. But I did not. Okay. So we're gonna do real quick checks for Mist Dragon before we do Moon. And the way we do this is we poke our head into these certain spots. Where there are bosses, but no key items. And we just see if it's Mist Dragon. I'm gonna wait and see if this is Wyvern. It is, okay. So we know where Wyvern is. We know that's not a concern. And unfortunately, those 2 spots are not what we're looking for. So we are heading back into space. Now, technically, if I was smart, I would have gone and bought Star Veils first. However, I did actually stop and think about this. We fought the major bosses who you need Star Veils for. I'm just gonna buy these because we have an obscene amount of money. Most of the tournament seeds give 1/4 money. I like to start with Cave Bahamut. It's technically not the efficient play because the other ones have more resources close together. We're also at the point where I should probably be ending this video. So we will do the Moon and Zeromus Moon, Baron, and Zeromus as the 3rd video once again. Hopefully you're enjoying this. Hopefully you were able to learn some things. If you are not already familiar with Free Enterprise, that was the goal with these. I know this is kind of a long-form video to just say, hey, you want to get started? Watch these 10 hours of video first. But I feel like watching these 2 videos, watching these 2 runs, and then having that as a base before you have the notes in front of you is going to go a lot further than sitting and watching tournament play, because there's so much happening so fast in a typical race situation that whether I'm commentating a run, my own run, or somebody else is commentating a run in a tournament, stuff gets missed. There's stuff that is assumed that people will understand, and I'm probably still glossing over some things that I understand that other people don't, because I've been doing this for long enough that even though I am not a high-end runner by any means, I still understand a lot of the mechanics of this game intrinsically, the language that is used and stuff like that some people might not. And I guess that's kind of the point with this, was to minimize that at least. So hopefully we're doing that. If you do have questions, like I said, leave them in the comments. I will do my best to answer. There's a lot going on, and like I said, the goal is to help, so please ask questions if you have or make suggestions if there's things that you think I did wrong. I'm fully aware that I am not the top tier of this game. I know a lot about it because I have spent a lot of time playing it and watched a lot of stuff, but I am not a top tier runner. So, yeah. And with that, as always, have a good one. We'll catch you next time.